Welcome to Hard Copy. Thank you for joining us. I'm Terry Ikumi. It's another evening of frank conversation. We're looking at diaspora issues and Nigeria's image abroad. Over the weekend, two Nigerian singers, Omale and Thames, were arrested in Uganda for violating the country's COVID-19 rules. The manner of the arrest and arraignment generated massive reactions from Nigerians, prompting the intervention of the Nigerian government. We'll look at that tonight. Also, nations are looking to capitalize on their overseas population base as a potential source of growth. Several governments, including Nigeria, have created new portfolios and in some cases ministerial positions to bring these overseas communities back into the fold. And according to PwC Global, in 2018, migrant remittances to Nigeria equaled $25 billion, representing 6.1% of the GDP. This also represents 14% year-on-year growth from the $22 billion receipt in 2017. And that's how important Nigerian diasporans are. So much that consideration is being made to get them involved in the elections. Well, tonight my guest is Lady Diaspora. That should ring a bell. She's been quite active since the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Act. And Honorable Abike Dabire-Rewa is the chairman CEO of that commission. Welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you, Terry. Nice to finally be with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have chased you for a while. It's been about 18 months for you now in that office. How's it been for you?
Everyday new challenges, but the key thing is we're moving on with the issues as it relates to Nigerians in the diaspora. And as you said in your intro, you can't ignore the diaspora anymore. The power of the diaspora is what the Nigerian government has now decided under Mr. President to tap into. Of course, having had the support of the parliament to pass a bill for an act to establish the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. So yeah, it's been challenging, but it's been quite progressive. And we're embarking on programs and policies that will ensure that we stop paying lip service to the issue of engaging our diaspora. I mean, like you said, beyond the remittances, $26 billion coming into the country, there's a lot more we can do with the diaspora. For instance, just yesterday, we got a report of the ad hoc committee we set up to look into the modalities for having a Nigeria Diaspora Investment Trust Fund. The report was submitted to the Minister of State Foreign Affairs. So we'll look into that because they are telling us we want to invest in our country. How do you make it easy for them? How do you make it possible for them? We had a diaspora bond a few years ago and it was oversubscribed. So we're going to have a diaspora investment trust fund that hopefully will be privately run but backed by government. Will be run by the diasporans themselves.
Well, what are some of the worries that the Nigerians in diaspora express with regards to their investment in Nigeria?
You know, everywhere is always, oh, can we trust government? With NIDCOM, we're saying, yes, you can. So with this, the first worry was, okay, because the ad hoc committee reached out to almost 52 diaspora groups. And it was like, okay, if we invest, how are we so sure of safety of our investments and all that? Particularly, what the central bank did by saying when you send in your money, you get it in the currency that you sent it in. If you send in $1,000, you get it as $1,000 rather than the person you're sending the money to.
So clearly they are not affected by the exchange rate or inflation
Well, apart from that, you send $1,000 to your mother, she gets it in $1,000, just the way you send it. So that was a very, very good, in fact, the best news in the last couple of months for the diaspora. And there are other policies and programs that should be put in place. For instance, we're waiting for the Federal Executive Council to ratify the diaspora policy. It's a wholesome, holistic policy that will guide diaspora engagements positively. So yes, Nigeria has now joined the league of other countries that have full ministries for their diaspora because we're talking about human capital development. So I'm glad we've joined the league and it's been long coming, but it's finally here.
Especially for someone who's come from being a special advisor to the president on diaspora issues to head in the commission.
I'm being chairman House Committee on Diaspora.
Interesting. So you're always receiving bashing online every time you congratulate a Nigerian who's done well abroad. How does that make you feel?
I won't say always. I'll just say some say, and as for online, I don't bother about comments and all that. I make my point and then it generates a discussion. Some say, oh, why are you always congratulating Nigerians who are succeeding? And my answer is, who was doing it before? Who was doing it before? Now, are you excited only about bad stories? Imagine a Nigerian is involved in drugs or fraud. It's going to make world headlines. They will not talk about the Nigerian who succeeded in their own country. So who was doing it before? And if you notice, the narrative is beginning to change. So if you tell me that somebody did drugs somewhere, I tell you, if you give me one person, I'll give you 10 in a jiffy that are excelling. So we have no apologies about that, and we continue to congratulate Nigerians excelling abroad. And guess what? People now communicate with us and say, oh, have you heard about A? We get emails. Have you heard about B? Or have you seen this Nigerian there? Even from non-Nigerians. So when President Trump came up and said, oh, Nigeria will put you on some list, the support came from even American media, saying that no, the Nigerians we know are ABCD. There's the side of it that, okay, will they achieve that much if they were in Nigeria? Nobody can tell. I had all my education here. Nigeria made me. Take Dr. Ogbago, the Nigerian who was involved in Pfizer vaccination. He had his upbringing from Nigeria, and he said it when we the last Zoom meeting with him. Dr. Koje, who is being inducted into the NASA Hall of Fame, his roots are here in Nigeria. So we can't tell, but there's nothing wrong in migrating legally.
So you couldn't be bothered about some of those social media
No. Social media comments, I'm only on Twitter.
Here's something else that recently got you some negative attention. You laughed at a tweet that said...
I think don't concentrate on...
Just a second.
No, I'll tell you that because, what I know...
I just want to find out, there was a point that was made from that tweet. That tweet read, Auntie Abike all the time, did she send you to go and break the laws of other countries? And then someone said...
That tweet read, Auntie Abike, I don't know the person, said it 4 times. I said, Auntie Abike, well done. Did she send you to go and break laws of the land? And
you laughed about it?
Well, a smarty thing. And somebody said, and here's the point. And then the comments were, listen, as long as you're a Nigerian, if you do, and it had to do with the Omali thing, as long as you're a Nigerian and you get into trouble, we will intervene.
No, the comment I was trying to get you to react to was the one that said that with somebody like you in that position laughing at a tweet like that, how would we be taken seriously outside?
But the guy doesn't know what he's talking about because nobody laughed at anything. Somebody made a comment and he was like, well, before that was, why should you even intervene? And I said, why not? They are our children. Take the Omali thing. 2 people reached out to me, P Square and some other celebrity, I think Dari or so, and immediately got to our attention, and the federal government immediately reacted. So let's look at the positive side of the social media. A lot of government people would rather not engage, but I will always engage. But because...
just a second, because we have time limit. From your assessment of the situation, do you think that the 2 Nigerians were in the wrong for going to that country to perform? Because some have said that they may not have known that the country was in lockdown or there were COVID-19 rules restricting mass gatherings because they were invited by organizers from Uganda. Do you think they were in the wrong?
No, here's the thing. In fairness to them, they were told that they are performing for a small crowd. So you blame the organizers, not those performers, really. Because they were told, oh, don't worry, it's just a hall, a small crowd of people. But they got there as a large crowd. At that point in time, they did what they had to do. But here's the thing, which we always tell, anybody that travels abroad, have faith in the mission. If the Nigerian mission had known that 2 of our biggest artists were in town and they just made their presence known, maybe that would not have happened. Again, one of the things we tell people is, anytime you travel, especially they are superstars, let the mission know that you are there. But we get the response that, oh, they don't listen to us. But let them know. During COVID-19, what we realized was that, take for instance in India, you have a registration of maybe there are 3,000 Nigerians. Then there's a problem. You see 30,000. How do you plan for them? So one of the things we always tell Nigerians is every time you travel, like this, students in particular, you're going on a study overseas, you're going for a program, just register your presence at the mission. Maybe you'll get a positive response, maybe not, but at least you'll say, oh, the mission knew I was around.
What was the process for securing their release? Because it would seem that we were largely dependent on the magistrates to issue that release, to order their release.
Well, when that information got to the Nigerian government, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Oyama, contacted his counterpart in Uganda, and we were also in touch with the Ugandan High Commission to Nigeria, who was at that time out of the country. And then, of course, immediately it got to the knowledge of our mission in Uganda, the swoop to action. So that was resolved basically through diplomatic means. They were to go to court, I think on the 16th, and then the charges and all that, but it was fast-tracked so that they just told their lawyers, now go back, come to court and apply for withdrawal of the case. So diplomatic intervention worked, and like I said, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, our mission in Uganda, Nigerians Diaspora Commission, all worked together to ensure that they were released. Because some people said to me, oh, they committed a crime. Oh, Nigerians. And I said, no, in this case, I'm sure if they had known, they would not have gone. Although ignorance is not an excuse, but they listened to the organizers. So I don't think we can blame them for what happened.
What was the commission in, the High Commission in Uganda, Nigerian High Commission in Uganda, informed before they were first arraigned in court?
That's what I'm saying. The High Commission didn't even know they were there.
So was it okay to arraign Nigerians in court without informing the High Commission in
well,
Uganda?
The idea is that these people, not only, don't forget that there were about, not just Nigerians, who allegedly broke COVID-19 rules. But immediately, I'm not sure of the process, but immediately the Nigerian High Commission got to know the swoop to action and immediately engaged the Ugandan authorities. But again, this is Uganda. They have their own laws and processes, which they followed. But the good thing is diplomatic intervention worked almost immediately. Because, you know, Uganda, and then there's a political undertone to it. You're having a concert. The presidential candidate of an opponent is a musician. And then there was this political thing that there was an undertone to it. And that's why we would not have allowed Nigerians to get caught in the web of those political undertones. And we're glad that the government listened immediately to the intervention of the Nigerian government.
At some point, Omale did say that the Ugandan government was preventing the Nigerian government from intervening.
At the early stage, yes, because as soon as it got to the attention of the mission, I said they swung into action immediately, but they even told them, no, this is our country. We have our laws.
But how do you react to Nigerians who have recently questioned Nigeria's respect among the Committee of Nations, especially considering that Nigeria is regarded as the giant of Africa?
We have our challenges, but we should respect ourselves and appreciate, you know, whatever it is are the strengths that we have as Nigeria. So it's a general comment. Again, it's not a general comment I want to go into. It's just that I'm saying that as a Nigerian, don't even allow anybody to stereotype you. As a Nigerian, 419 does not have a Nigerian name. Fraudster does not have a Nigerian address. And then the way we conduct ourselves, also, and President always tells them you are the #1 ambassadors and do not forget home. So I don't think you should generalize like, well, we have our challenges, so do other countries. But if you allow them to stereotype you, to look down on you, which is what NIDCOM always resists, don't let anybody stereotype you or look down. So you carry your green passport, you're traveling, and somebody says, oh, a Nigerian did this, but look at him in the face or her and say, don't you dare generalize. In the UK, how many cases of knife deaths have we had to intervene? I've visited about 5 families whose children were killed through gun knife. So don't let anybody look down on you. We have our challenges. We have our problems as a nation, but so does every other country.
Now, many Nigerians will argue that the government has a huge role to play.
Oh, absolutely. You see, government needs to do its own bit. We also do our own bit. And there's always this argument, oh, is there a problem with leadership or followership? Absolutely. The leadership must be in place and the followership will be in place.
So what's government's bit in this?
In what?
In the image of the country. You've just talked about what
looking at the diaspora, for instance, I'm telling you that one of the things we have done is always celebrate ourselves as Nigerians, wherever you are. In Russia, a Nigerian just got, for the first time, a Nigerian scored all A's in Russia. Nobody, no black person had ever done that. So for us in NIDCOM, ours is when you do well as a Nigerian, we will celebrate you. Okay. If you do bad, we'll intervene where we can, but we'll not join others in saying we are bad. But rather, we're saying we are good, we are the best. And I'm saying that, look, in one day, 8 Nigerians were drafted into the NBA. In one day. And we said, congratulations. In the US elections, we have 2 Nigerians. The third one...
We got bashings for that as well.
No, the third
many
one...
people have said, improve. You're talking about the NBA, but look at the Nigerian basketball
I agree with
league
you, but that is the Ministry of Sports. And I'm sure the ministry is doing all you can.
Speaking of Nigeria in general,
So
let's take a break. Let's take a break.
For Nigeria Diaspora Commission, we're in charge of the diaspora.
Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Hard Copy. My guest is Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, the Chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. How has it been for you reacting to invitations to intervene in some of these issues, even some of the issues that many would expect that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the High Commission in a particular country should intervene in? How has it been for you having to be called into issues like this? But
we don't do it without the missions, so just get it clear. The only thing is that maybe there's faster mode of communication, so we really don't work.
But is it your responsibility as NITCOM? Because I've
let me explain
of the functions of NITCOM.
No, let me explain to you. NITCOM is like a service delivery unit in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I think it's as simple as that. So, like for instance, some argue that O'Malley and Thames and co. Actually, they are not Nigerians in the diaspora. They traveled for a program.
Exactly.
But you have your citizens in trouble. You don't sit back and not do anything. So we can't do anything without our mission. If the mission was not proactive, they will not return. Take, for instance, what happened in Cairo during the NSAS protest. And again, social media, somebody comes online and says, oh, I've released them. You released them through a tweet. And I was talking to our consular in Cairo, and he was like, what's going on? And he was telling me, madam, it is not true. And it turned out that 8 of them that were arrested, 7 had no documentation. And because of that tweet, somebody started online and said, oh, I've released them. They were actually laughing at us and saying that, is that what you do in your country? You sit back and say through a tweet, you release somebody in our country. They deported them because they didn't have the documentation. So let's be careful. That's what I'm saying. And then back to what you were saying about Nigerians in the diaspora. Let me stress that my job schedule is Nigerians in the diaspora. So if you, okay, some of those NBA players, particularly in sports, they are coming back to do a whole lot of things in Nigeria. Masai Ujiri is building like little sporting centers in some states in Nigeria. He won the NBA for the Toronto Raptors in 2 years ago. So I'm going to keep stressing that as long as you're a Nigerian in the diaspora and you're excelling, what can you do with your country? Others have done it. So Indians, Chinese, Pakistan, they succeeded abroad, but they came back home to be part of the progress and development of their country. Now, NITCOM is now saying, wherever you are, let's work together with the Nigerians at home. What about the Nigerian who just came in from Canada? He's in Canada. He set up a small business. He has employed 26 people. With more support, he's added 20 more to that. Imagine all of us do our bits and pieces. And when some sit down over the social media to criticize, these Nigerians are very excited to do it. To say, you know what, they're even coming to us and say, what can we do? I've just received a 22-year-old who had a first class from Cambridge University. He came to me and said, madam, I want to do all I can to attract the 18 to 22-year-olds in various parts of the world. He walked up to us. So if they want to do it, who are those ones that are saying, why should they do it? So they're excited about it, but the key thing is that now there's an agency, there's a one-stop organization to deal with it. I'm not heading a Ministry of Youth and Sports or Internal Affairs. I'm just heading a commission for the diaspora. So we must ensure that the diaspora are engaged in the programs and policies of Nigeria, period.
You've also been involved in rescuing human traffic victims for some time now, which brings us to the question, of late, there's not been much mention of that. Have we made progress?
Absolutely. Again, that's when we worked with NAPTIP, immigration. And so far, we still have some distress cases in Oman. And you know, even trafficking, when you look at it, for instance, there's been so much done in that regard. And again, I know there's still issues from Oman and all that. And the new DG of NAPTIP, I'm sure when she settles down, if there are issues, you see, they are basically trafficking issues, not NITCOM issues. But it's about a distress call. So what the role we can play, contacting the mission, working with ABC, they were able to succeed in some cases. And take, for instance, Edo State, where you keep saying Edo has the largest number of this, because the Edo State governor got up and said, I want to do something concrete about this. It has reduced. Now, the numbers are coming from the Southwest. And basically, we're talking about places like Oman, Saudi. You know, the demography is changing. And now we have 33 focal persons on diaspora. So states now have their own focal points on diaspora. So we are decentralizing, so to speak. So what we do is work directly with the state focal persons, and they even intervene almost immediately when some of these cases get to them. So I guess there's more concentration in that area by the state governments and by the agencies responsible.
On the issues of remittances now, diaspora remittances, the federal government says an improvement from the $26 billion is expected. But then the question will also arise as to what exactly are the policies of government or actions of government that would encourage that.
I think that CBN policy is a great encouragement. When you're sending your money, you get it in the currency in which is or the beneficiary receives it in the same currency. Another thing we're asking CBN to do is to reduce the cost of remittances. Now, the levies charged by IMTOs is the highest in the world. Nigeria is the IMTOs charge remittances to Nigeria. They put on levies of almost over 9%. But in other parts of the world, it's less than 6%. So if the CBN can help in reducing the cost of remittances, it's going to help. Now, like I told you, we're having in place the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, where the diaspora can actually own the fund and decide what they want to do with it. And I believe that also will be very encouraging. And generally speaking, the ease of doing business is getting better. Now, ministries, if we have the diaspora policy in place, ministries, key ministries will have diaspora desks. Ministry of Health has one, because we have a large number of Nigerian doctors. They come home, they do medical missions, and they are doing a lot. And we're even saying that if you get together, you can do a lot more. And we're still waiting. There's a group in America who wants to build, in fact, many who want to build centers of excellence. Abuja has given a land for a diaspora medical center. There's one going on in Lagos. Kano State Governor has offered free land to Kano indigenous in diaspora. And he says, even others, if you want to build in Kano, I have land for you. So there's a lot that is being done for the diaspora. And we have no choice, because that is the next oil. And we cannot joke with them, we cannot play with them. And the good thing is, they are so excited about it. They are so interested in it. And the trust is, now they have an agency to talk to. Before, there was nobody to talk to. Now you have somebody to talk to, or a group of people to talk to, and it's quite positive.
Just before we go, how important is this bill, that the amendment to the Electoral Act that is seeking to include diasporans in voting? How important is that to the remittances?
Not just to remittances, to everything about the diaspora. I mean, you're remitting so much money, it is your right to vote. Now, they've crossed the first hurdle, first reading, second reading. I have to thank the House Committee on Diaspora and the Senate Committee on Diaspora, particularly Honorable Tolu, who has done a lot in this regard. We also had the Nigeria Diaspora Voting Council, headed by Wale Adeomoli, who actually held a summit here. And we've been working with them. So that is just one hurdle, but there's a bigger hurdle to scale, which is to get the buy-in of all parliamentarians that it's worth having them vote. So some people believe, oh, there are more in this place, there are more in that place, but we're working on data, for instance. You'll be surprised the number of Nigerians in some parts of Africa that we've never looked at. Sudan has a huge number of Nigerians abroad. When we look into even the figures in the Middle East, it's huge. So one of the things we are doing in the Commission is we must work on our data. I know Nigerians, it's difficult to say let's know, but now because there's something to look forward to, they are beginning to be a bit more relaxed about sharing their data with us. For instance, where are you? What do you do? We're also working with the local content on the local content thing, so that if you need a Nigerian, there's nowhere in the world that you don't have a Nigerian who is succeeding and who can fill a local content thing. So all those things are there, and I know that as we move on, we'll achieve more success stories. So the diaspora voting, it's going to be huge. And I hope that we succeed with Parliament. I mean, we shouldn't relax at all, because I still spoke to a parliamentarian who said to me just a few days ago that, it will be hard. I said, why, my brother? And I said, it will be hard. So we still have a lot of work to do. INEC is ready. President Bora, I said, he has no issues about it. So we just have to work with our parliamentarians to make sure that Nigerians in diaspora are able to vote.
Very well, then.
So it's not a question of when, but it's not a question of if, but when.
All right, very well. Just before we go, let me just ask you a question about your personal ambition now. We've known you from journalism to politics, and now you occupy public office. What's next for you?
I take each day as it comes. I have a job to do now. It's very challenging.
You consider going back to the House of Representatives or the Senate?
Oh, no. How can I go to House of Representatives? No, I left that for a younger person, voluntarily. Okay. Voluntarily. Like I said, we take each day as it comes.
Thank you so much for finding time to come speak with us today.
Thank you.
Honorable Abike Dabirerewa is the Chairman, CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. And that's all for Hard Copy today. Thank you for watching. Remember to send your feedback to the email address and social media handle on your screen. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.